Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Scott.
And in studio with us we have Preston. Preston, if somebody needed to contact us, what would they need to do?
For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4357. Everywhere else, 1-866-636-6284. For the email, dothemath@kern.org. We're online at dothemathonline.net. And on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, nicely done. So Preston, where do you attend school and what grade are you in?
I'm in 5th grade and I attend school at Panama Elementary.
You are a Yellow Jacket, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Have you been there for a long time?
Yep.
Love it?
7 years.
You guys had a revision at your school. Did they remodel it?
Yes.
So what kind of things did they do? Are you able to see a lot of these things?
Yeah, it's mainly just new classrooms and just new classrooms.
Okay, so are you in one of the new classrooms or are you in one of the older ones?
I'm still in one of the older ones.
Okay, so was it the main building they mostly did?
What they did is they got rid of all of the portables and they added new ones that don't really break down.
Well, that's good that they don't really break down.
Yep.
Did they modify your playground at all, make it bigger, add things to it or
Yeah,
anything?
they added more of a field and new play structure.
Okay. If you were in charge of that remodel, is there anything you would have done differently, or maybe you would have added something else that they didn't quite put in yet?
No, I think that they did it perfectly.
Oh, good. All right. So you're happy with the place?
Yep.
Well, that's good, because you're going to be there one more year, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nice to hear that everything's going well over at Panama.
Yeah.
Why don't you head over to the board? We're going to play a little game called Always, Sometimes, or Never.
Okay.
All right. So head over to the board and grab a marker. And this game is going to deal with exponents today.
Okay.
Because you've shown me what you did in 5th grade for some of your homework, and you've got a pretty good grasp on that. So we're going to move beyond that. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yep.
All right. What I'd like you to do is, up on the board, I would like you to put 2 to the 4th power. Excellent. I'm glad you've got that part right.
Well
so you do
done.
know your exponents, all right? And then what I want you to do is put an equal sign next to it, and put 4 to the 2nd power. Now, taking a look at that, can you explain to me how to do that? What does that mean? The exponents like that, what does that mean? Can you explain that?
What I think it really means is just the same thing, like the number itself, how many times it is up there. Like this would be about 2 times 4, no, 2, what do you do? What's it called? Well,
Okay, so first of all, the first thing you said was good. We're going to be multiplying, right?
Yeah.
So you know you're going to be multiplying. Now, which numbers are you going to multiply together?
for this it's 2 times 4, and because of the commutative property, it is 4 times 2.
Okay,
also.
so let's think about this a little bit more. If the 4 was right next to the 2, and there was a dot between them, or an x between them, that would be 2 times 4. If the numbers were the same size, right?
Okay.
But in this case, we have an exponent, which means it goes up to the top, right? So the only number we're going to be multiplying is 2. So there's your hint. We're only going to be multiplying 2. What can you tell me if we're only multiplying 2? How many times will you multiply it?
So you would multiply 2 by itself 4 times.
There you go. So we
Okay.
have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's what that means, right?
Yep.
What about on the other side? What does the other side mean?
That would just be 4 twice, which would be 4 and 4.
4 times 4. Okay, so we've cleared it up. What's the next question that we need to answer about this?
Are they equal? First
yeah.
of all, see if
That's
they
right.
Are they equal?
That's right. What do you think? Well, just a guess. Take a guess first. Do you think they're going to be equal or not?
Yeah, I think they will be.
Okay, that'd be a good guess. I mean, the same numbers. We'll see how kind of what happens. Okay, how do you want to go about solving this one? You want to do the left or the right side first?
I think left side.
Okay.
So you would just do 2 times 2, which would be 4, and then the 2 times 2 again would be 4 equals 16.
Okay. And you're allowed to do that out of order because you can do all your multiplication any order you want, right? It's all multiplication, don't have to worry about that. What about the other side?
So for the other side, it would just be 4 times 4, basic fact. 4 times 4 equals 16.
Hey,
So you got a good grasp on that. That's good. All right. So
Well
that
done.
was your little warm-up problem. Go over to the other side of the board.
Okay.
So we can see that 2 to the 4th and 4 to the 2nd being equal. That's always true, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So now here's the problem I'd like you to work on.
Okay.
2 to the 3rd power is equal to 3 to the 2nd power. Now, once again, we have the same numbers like you did in the first one, but now they're reversed, right? The same thing. So 2 and 4, and then 4 and 2. So now you've got 2 and 3, and 3 and 2.
Right.
So looking at that, do you think that that is always true, never true, or sometimes true?
Sometimes too. True. Not,
Okay.
Sometimes?
yeah.
Go ahead, take a shot, see what you get.
Okay, so 2, 2, and 2.
Good.
That would be right here. 2 times 2 is 4. Then just add that extra 2. 2 times 4 equals 8.
Okay, so this side over here, the left side, right? This one right here is 8. Okay, what about the right side?
So then that would just be 3 and 3. And 3 times 3, basic fact, 9.
9, all right. So we have 8 on the left side and 9 on the right side.
Yep.
Are they equal?
Nope.
So your guess was that sometimes they're equal. In this case, we came up with a situation where they're not equal. Can
Yep.
you think of any possible way that 8 could equal 9?
Nope.
It's a tough one, not really
So
happening.
would you like to stay with your original sometimes true, or do you want to say never true or always true?
Still sometimes because that one equaled the same thing, but
Well,
this
now
one's different.
hold on,
I
brother,
see what
hold
you're
on.
saying.
We're only talking about this problem.
Yeah.
Oh.
So is 2 to the 3rd power equal to 3 to the 2nd power?
No.
So is it never true, always true, or sometimes true?
Oh, then never. True.
Never true. All right,
for
let's
you.
spin the wheel and see how the young man did today.
Slower.
Never it is.
Never.
There you go. Nicely done. All right. Well done, Preston. And the reason I wanted you to do that is because when we did the first one, 2 to the 4th and 4 to the 2nd, you have the same two numbers, even though the base and exponent got reversed. The same thing there, the base and exponent were reversed, but it wasn't the same again, was it?
No.
All right, nicely done. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available most Tuesday and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. Time now for today's Math in the News. And today's Math in the News, here we are once again celebrating 20 years of Do the Math. Some photographs of some of the people involved with Do the Math over the past 20 years. And with us today we have Susie. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm excellent myself. Still alive and kicking. Here we go, 20 years in. And Susie, you were part of Do the Math. And first of all, how did you hear about the program Do the Math?
Well, when your program first started, I was teaching at Stern Middle School, 7th and 8th grade math. And you were having a promotion to see which teacher could have the most students call in.
Right, I remember we would say, all right, all of the 7th grades or all of whatever grade level it
Yeah,
was,
it
it
was-
was whatever
7.
classroom called in the most, we would go and we would visit your class and have stuff to give the kids and do little activities with them, stuff like that.
Well, your promotion that year was for me to come on the show instead of you to come to my
Oh, okay.
class.
So I remember we did go to classrooms,
Yeah.
so we knew
Yeah.
that. All right. So you came on the show because
Yeah.
your class had phoned in the most.
Yes. And so I got a little prize. And anyways, and I saw all the phone tutors in person. They used to be right here.
Right.
And then a few years later, I got to know you a little better through in-services.
Okay.
And then a few years later, I asked you if I could be a phone tutor. And I said I didn't want to be on the show. I only wanted to be a phone tutor. And you said,
That's what everybody says. They're like, I don't want to go on TV. I just want to do it on the phone and talk to
Yeah,
the kids,
yeah.
and that's fine.
so
At the
anyways,
beginning.
yeah.
Here you are right here. So,
Good afternoon and welcome.
yeah,
Yeah.
see, there you are right there.
Uh-huh.
So you remember these good old days?
Oh, yeah.
Susie
I,
right
I
there.
loved being on the show.
Okay. So you started off as a phone tutor, as everybody does. And do you remember the first time you were on air, how that went?
Well, yeah, I was, it turned out I was nervous, you know, because you think, you know, what if some high school calculus student calls in and, you know, and I haven't done that for 30 years.
Right.
But, no, it worked out, every time it worked out really nice.
Yeah, well, you know what?
So-
You were a great part of the program. And how long were you with Do the Math?
I think 5 years, maybe.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
you've been here for a good
Yeah.
number of years.
Yeah, so, because, yeah, I just really liked it. Really
And
liked
you
it.
were at Stern Middle School when you were working with us. And here you are at one of the events at a math night, it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was
state
also
rate
at
is
Chipman when I
all
worked
three
for you,
sides are
too.
different.
Okay.
So a couple years at Stern, a couple years at Chipman.
Okay, all right.
And that was at Frank West's school,
Sure.
that event.
Oh, the event was at Frank
Yeah.
West?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I don't know why, but the two S's remind me.
And if I could see that, yeah, I think that's Jack,
Perfect.
Okay.
if I remember correctly, that boy's name. Anyway, it's funny how you see things like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
do remember that kid. And other
Yeah.
times I look at that, I'm like, I have no idea who that is. The mind goes after a while. So, we thank you for being part of the Do the Math program. What are you doing now?
Well, I retired
Oh.
2 years ago.
Wish I could say the same thing.
But
Soon
it was a weird time to retire because then COVID happened. You know, but I have 6 grandchildren and I have 24 piano students. So,
you're busy.
yeah.
Now, when you are working with these students with piano,
Mm-hmm.
do you incorporate math so that they know they're learning math at the same time?
You can't get away from math and piano. Everything's numbered, everything, and then there's tons of fractions. The fractions are a little harder to teach your 6-year-old students, you know, 16ths and 8ths and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. But yeah, in fact, I learned fractions from my piano teacher. So I had learned fractions before I saw it at school from my piano teacher.
Oh, there you go. A lot to learn. It's just like
Yeah.
when we have people in studio with us and when we go out and visit different places,
Mm-hmm.
how math is incorporated into every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times students may not realize it until they actually use it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Susie, we want to thank you for coming down, taking
Thank
some time
you.
to visit with us. And,
Anytime.
thank you once again for your service with Do the Math. I know a lot of the students certainly do appreciate all of your time with them at
Mm-hmm.
Bakersfield City School District, and we certainly do appreciate your work with all of the different students throughout Kern County and elsewhere through
Thank
the Do
you.
the Math program.
Well, I was honored to be here.
And that is today's Math in the News. 636-4357 is the phone number. We have Preston, a 5th grade student from Panama Elementary, working in studio with us today. But right now, we're going to go out and about and see how math is done in the real world.
We're here today at Affinity Truck Center in Bakersfield, just north of Bakersfield on Highway 99. We've been coming here for a few years now. It's always great to come back. We're going to talk a little bit with Roy Peters, General Manager. Roy, great to be back. Thanks for seeing us again.
Thanks for coming. We love having you guys out here.
You know, we've been coming here for a few times now, and we've covered a lot of ground as far as connecting math with, you know, the idea of truck repair. Tell us a little bit about Affinity Truck Repair for those that may be joining us for the first time.
So we're a full-line truck dealer. We sell Volvo and Mack trucks. We sell parts, and we also have a service department that fixes the trucks. So it's a lot like a car dealership, except for big trucks, for semis.
For our audience who's been able to kind of make some connections with the real world, it's always fascinating coming here. In the past, we've been able to work with some of the tires to make sense of the relationship between circumference and diameter, talked a little bit about rates with transmissions and differentials. There's so much interaction with application-based math and the work that you do here every day.
There certainly is. I mean, everything we do is math in every department. In the service department, we've gone over a lot of that talk, and even today I think we're going to talk a little about metric versus fractions. But we do math every day to figure out a truck deal, for instance. You know, we have the sale price, say at $150. You've got to add sales tax. You've got to add FET tax. You've got to add tax and title, and so we do math all the time, every day.
It rolls into every aspect of the job that everybody here does, and that's one of the things we wanted to come and talk about today is the training program that you've been able to utilize with Affinity Truck Center to bring in new technicians and create that pipeline directly from the high schools.
Yeah, that's been the best thing. We have found it's easier to grow our own technicians than it is to go out and get them or try to take them from someplace else where they may have developed bad habits. So we've been very successful. We've got 6 young men that we've taken out of high schools. Most of them have gone through the ROC program, and we have taken a couple years. We give them a toolbox, we give them a laptop, and they work their way through. In 2 years, they learn everything they need to learn, and we cut them loose on fixing trucks, and usually within 3 years, they're all master certified. And to be honest, the pay's good. Once you get out of the apprentice program, we pay double minimum wage because the technician has his own tools, and so next year the minimum wage will be $15, and so we'll be paying our technicians at least a minimum of $30 an hour. So it also works good. Most people don't realize that a lot of the trade jobs pay well. So we're proud of what we've done. Raising up young guys to become really good technicians.
We're going to talk with a few more folks here at Affinity a little bit later on, but for somebody watching that hears this and might be interested in exploring this, what would you recommend as far as those first steps getting started or those conversations?
So the easiest way is to get involved in the ROC program. That way you get a chance to see if it's something you enjoy doing. And then we can see if you have technical abilities. And if you have those two things, you can do an internship at a dealership like this, and from that point, we can see how you fit. And in most cases, we have taken kids out of local high schools who went through the ROC program, and we have put them on as interns, and they have stayed. Almost all of them have stayed that we've done interns with. So it's been a good pipeline for us, and the young guys that we've hired have been fantastic.
It's a tremendous start to a wonderful success story. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the apprenticeship program and about what it takes to get involved and get started. But for now, we're going to send it right back to the studio. Mike, take it away.
All right, thanks for that, Devin. And once again, we very much appreciate Roy and everything that he's done with Do the Math over the past few years, and we'll definitely check in with those guys a little bit later on during today's program. In studio, we have Preston, a 5th grade student from Panama. We're going to get him working on some fractions in a little bit. But first, we're going to go to the phones, and Nathan, how are you this afternoon?
Good, and yourself?
I'm wonderful, thank you. You've got another homework problem you're working on, one thing about a furniture store, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and read it, and we've got the problem here so the folks at home can read along with you. So go ahead and, when you're ready, read it.
At Max Furniture Store, a standard table has a price of $1,000. Mick wants to purchase a luxury version of the table, which costs 35% more, and he has a coupon for a 15% discount. After applying 6% sales tax to the discounted price, how much will Mick pay for the luxury table?
All right, so let's make sure we have all of the important information up there. A standard table is $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
The luxury table costs 35% more. But he has a coupon for a 15% discount, but then they have to add 6% sales tax to the discounted price. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so you and Scott, take it away.
All right, Nathan, so don't get overwhelmed by this kind of problem because it really is just let's see, 1, 2, 3 different problems in one. No big deal, but let's just do one at a time, and I think you'll be just fine. What's the very first thing you want to do on this problem here, Nathan?
Find out how much the luxury table costs.
That's a great idea. Wonderful. And how do you do that?
Find out how much 35% is of 1,000.
Absolutely. Let's do it. So what is 35% of 1,000? Can you do that in your head, or do you want to do a little bit of a calculator?
Calculator.
Okay. So 35% of 1,000.
That would be $350.
Good job. $350. So how much does that luxury table cost?
It costs $1,350.
Good for you. $1,350. Okay. So what's next? You've done the first step. And again, don't get too overwhelmed by the whole entirety of the problem. Let's do one step at a time. Now we have a coupon. I've got to love those coupons, saving money. And the coupon is for 15% off. So is the price going to go up or down from $1,350?
Down.
Going to go down. And how much is it going to go down? How are you going to find that out? What's 15% of 1,350? You got your calculator going?
Yes.
All right.
That would be $202. 0.5. Yeah.
Okay, so $202.50?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Okay, so before you guys go on,
Sure.
I want to remind Nathan that when you guys see, and I know you're not the only one, but when you see a number in a calculator like 202.5 and you're dealing with money, would you ever go into some place and go, I'll give you $202.5?
No.
No. How would you say that?
$202.50.
There you go. So even though it says 0.5, it's important that you guys understand that it is 50 cents, and to say 50 cents and to write 50 cents with it as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, good. Carry on, boys.
I like it. That's good information. Yeah. So, Nathan, what do you want to do with this $202.50?
Subtract the original price, which will be $1,350 by $202.50.
Good job. Okay, so when you line this up, okay, just a little reminder, just like we had a little reminder about making sure we know that it's 50 cents. As a reminder here, when you're subtracting, please make sure you line up the decimals. And our original number, at least on my screen, I didn't have a decimal there at 1350, so I put it at the end and added a couple zeros, and we're going to do some subtraction. Okay, you can do it by hand, but of course, if you have your calculator there real quick, 1,350 minus 202.50.
That would be $1,147.50.
I like it. $1,147.50. Still a little bit more than the original price of the smaller table, right? But hey, that's saving some money. I'm all right with that. Now we have one last step to do, and that's to do some tax. Now, is tax going to make the price go up or down?
It's going to make it go up.
Yeah, taxes tend to do that. Yeah, that's what happens there. So, how much is tax on this one?
6%.
Gotcha. So let's find 6% of $1,147.50. And I love math, but I sure do like those calculators when you start to talk about a lot of decimals.
Yeah.
So the last step, oops, I'll put it over here. The last step is to add that tax.
$688.50.
Say that again. 688.
Yes. And 0.5.
Okay. So we need to look at that and see if that makes sense. Okay. We had 15% of a number, right? We had $202.
Okay.
Even though the problem went down.
Hold on a second. Okay. What I want you to do, Nathan, is I want you to do that problem again. As you're putting it into the calculator, tell me what you're putting into the calculator.
Okay.
So clear it and tell me the numbers you're putting them as you put them in.
So 0.6.
Okay, that's the problem right there. You can't have tax of $600 on something that costs $1,000. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not even paying 10%. So 10% would be $100, so it's going to be under $100. So the decimal point is what's messing you up on this thing, all right? So instead of 0.6, which would be 60%, it's going to be 0.06.
Okay.
Got to move that decimal twice. And that'll
So
help
Scott,
out a
you
little
can
bit.
leave everything up there, but you're just going to move your decimal point over one place.
Absolutely. I like that part too.
After that, I got 68.85.
There you go. That's a
That's
little
it.
better now.
So let's add that in, 68.85. And we need to come up with a final answer. And hooray for cash registers, because they tend to do this for us. But we'll go ahead and see if we can finish up this problem here. I'll do the math. 5. Nathan, I'm going to beat you. Get your calculator out, but I'm going to beat you.
You had a head start on the kid. You told them when you were halfway
Come
through.
on, all the young people, you know their fingers work quick with those phones. They got to be able to punch that stuff in real quickly. So you just check my work here, Nathan. Make sure that I did it right. $1,216.35. Is that what you got?
I couldn't even put it in here, but yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what. As much as we love those electronics, it still pays to do some math by hand every once in a while.
Nice problem right there, Nathan. And the reason, now I know that Scott just brought up about how kids are very fast with phones and things like that. It's also to make, sure that you are putting in the right numbers. So just like you saw, 0.6 is a lot different than 0.06. But Nathan, for a great problem today, you've got yourself a meal courtesy of our friends at Grill & Burgers. So congratulations on that. All right, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. In studio with us is Preston, a 5th grade student from Panama, who is well rested now, aren't you?
Yep.
All right, back to the board, young man. Scott will clear that board for you. And we're going to move on from exponents because I know in 5th grade you're going to be doing a lot of work with decimals, fractions, and percents.
Yep.
And you're pretty good with decimals right now, right? Mm-hmm. So let's get into the fraction thing. And I know you know how to add fractions.
Yep.
But let's work on this one, all right? So, Scott, if you want to put this up there, let's go 2 over 4 plus, let's go 5 over 8. So, Preston, explain to Scott how you would do this problem.
Okay, so first you would multiply 4 times 8 and make that the denominator for both of your fractions.
Gotcha.
And
So in order to
then-
add fractions, as a general rule, you got to have the same number on the bottom, same denominator, right? Okay, so they didn't have the same denominator, you're going to make them. All right, keep going.
Yep.
I like your first step.
And then because we multiplied 4 times 8, we would also have to multiply the numerator by 8, which would be 16.
Good, there you go.
And same thing for the other way. Because we multiplied 8 times 4 for this, we have to multiply 5 times 4 to do that.
That's
and
it.
then for this, we
Good.
would just add 16 plus 20, which is 36 over 32, which that is an improper fraction,
It is, this is true.
which we can change that to 1 and 4 30.
Okay, you are really good at math so far, I can tell. Tell me how you got 1 and 4 over 32. Where did that come from? And then we're going to do one more step.
What I did is I subtracted 36 from 32.
Okay,
No, 32 from 36.
32 from 36. There you go.
Yeah.
Good job.
Which I got 4. And then because I subtracted, I would just add that extra 1.
Gotcha. Because 32 over 32 is really just 1. You're taking out that
Yeah.
whole number. Good job. Okay, and what
And
do you want to do
then-
at the very end here?
And then I just moved the denominator over.
Right. What about this last step here, though? We're not quite done. There is really one more step. I'm going to keep that 1 there for you.
Oh yeah, simplify it.
Yeah, let's do a little simplifying. All right, how are you going to simplify it?
So we can divide 4 by 4,
Okay.
which would just be 1.
You can put it right on that line there. I drew a line for you.
1.
Uh-huh.
And then we would divide 4 from 32 because we divide 4 by 4, which would be 8. So
Good job.
the answer would be 1 and 1/8.
1 and 1/8. All right. Well
Nicely
done.
done. Yeah, great problem right there. And for your great effort today, Preston, so far, you've got yourself a meal courtesy of our friends at the Broken Yoke Cafe. Cute little chickies there. Have you ever been to the Broken Yoke Cafe?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite meal?
Just pancake and bacon.
Ooh, there you go. Now you're talking to the old man right there. Pancakes and bacon. Mighty fine, mighty fine. A little short stack and a big stack of bacon on top of it. It can't hurt anybody. All right, you know what? We do have another opportunity to head out to Affinity and check in with Devin and Roy and see what's going on. So, Devin, take it away.
Hey, thanks a lot. We're back here at Affinity Truck Center talking a little bit about preparing the future technicians of tomorrow. Joined right now by Chris Parris, Service Director. Chris, thanks a lot for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Affinity has a really unique program where they're starting to look at future technicians and building the ranks starting at the high school level. Tell us a little bit about the kind of the impetus for that program and how it started.
So we work with quite a few different high schools actually, and they have different apprenticeship programs where they'll bring them in, the kids get some school credit while they're here, get a taste of it, make sure this is the industry they really want to be in before they move into it as a full-time career. Gives them a taste, and there's some that we find it's not for everyone, but most of them are pumped. Most of them are pumped.
Yeah, that's a trend that we're starting to see as far as career preparation, is that sense of try it before you dive in.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, you know early on that you can make another decision. But when you start to look for students who are starting to show that interest at the high school level, talk us a little bit about like that process. How do they get in contact, or how do they begin that journey?
It's going to start at the school level. All the schools have different programs. We encourage the schools to reach out to us, but through their local school programs, whether it's here in Bakersfield, there's the ROC programs, a few others with the different schools, and same in Fresno where we're at as well. But it starts at the schools. The instructors will reach out to us from there.
As they get connected with you, what is that process and what does the support look like as far as how they're providing an opportunity to develop and grow and get that experience?
Generally, it's through the automotive programs at the schools or the heavy-duty truck programs at the schools. Either way, whether they're in an auto program or a truck program, they can get in with us. The schools generally will bus them back and forth and make all the arrangements. And we handle all the insurance with the school and take care of all that side of it. And it's just moving forward from there.
And then once they graduate high school, that picks up quite a bit as far as the pace of onboarding and getting to experience the day-to-day role. And there are also some experiences as far as maybe even, from what I understand, some travel that might be entailed.
Yeah, so once they get out of school, they would enter our apprentice program. They'd interview, and if they're accepted, they go through our apprentice program. It's a 2-year program. In that 2 years, there's a lot of online training, a lot of hands-on training. There's weekly meetings with a mentor that they're assigned here. They will work with one mentor through the whole process. Traveling all over the country as they go through the programs. We send them into Texas, we send them into Atlanta, Hayward, down to Southern California as well. So there's a lot of travel.
When did this program get started?
About 7 years ago.
And in that time, what sort of numbers have you seen as far as the individuals that you've been able to support through this program?
Right now we have, I think it's 15 that have gone through the program and about 22 total. So we've got 7 working in the program between our couple of stores.
And because you're able to streamline that and create that pipeline directly to the company, that pace and the return on that as far as the individuals that have come through, these are individuals who could be with the company for quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we go through this program, and it's entertaining that we look at it. The kids coming out of our 2-year program have what would take 10 or 15 years of experience to gain in that 2 years. We put them with the best techs in the shop, and we just submerge them with as much experience as we possibly can in that 2 years. And they really come out of it as a high-level master technician. And they're performing at a very high level when they come out.
And the field's moving quickly enough. Coming up in our next segment, we're actually going to hear from one of our master technicians who have come through the program, and we'll kind of get a sense for their perspective on how things navigated from high school to the technician level. But until then, we'll send it back to the studio. Mike, take it away.
All right, thanks for that, Devin. And it is a wonderful program that they've got going on there. It's been going on quite successfully at Affinity. We do have phone tutors here until 5:30. More importantly, we have in studio Preston, a 5th grade student from Panama, a yellow jacket, who loves the remodel at Panama Elementary. So there's nothing you would add to it.
Nope, nothing at all.
Nothing at all. How about like some really big slides or something like you see at fairs and things? Would you
How
like
about
one
a
of
water
those?
slide?
That could be dangerous.
Yeah, there you
Sure, it
go.
could be dangerous.
Weather's pretty warm around
Good
here
point.
during most of the year. All right, let's head back to the board, young man. Now, the problem you did previously was 2/4 plus 5/8.
Yes.
Okay, and I can see that you're pretty comfortable adding fractions with unlike denominators.
Yep.
So erase the addition symbol in there. Now I want you to put a multiplication symbol in there.
Okay.
Now I want you to do the problem. Explain to Scott how you'd like to start it, and if you're stuck, Scott's right there.
Okay, so first you would multiply 4 times 8, 32 as your denominator, and
Now,
then
Preston, you're doing a great job, but I gotta ask you. In the last problem, you made the two bottom numbers the same.
yes.
In this problem, you're just going for it.
Yep.
Do you have to make the two bottom numbers the same?
Nope.
How come?
Well, actually, I don't really know.
Well, because
why.
multiplication different. It's a whole different ballgame, isn't it?
Yep.
So whenever I see students that say, I don't like fractions, I say, you know what, if you don't like fractions, a great place to start is multiplication, because you can just go for it, just like you've done so far. So you're exactly right. You don't have to make them the same. You just multiply straight across.
Yep.
All right, keep going. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to make sure I knew what you were thinking.
Yes. And then 2 times 5, 10.
Good. And you know there's more,
Yep.
right? What else are you going to do on this one?
Simplify.
Let's simplify. Good idea.
Because you can divide 10 by 2 and 32 by 2.
Right.
That would equal 5 over 16.
That's it right there. So you've not only multiplied them together, right, but you've also simplified at the very end.
Yep.
Do we want to?
Oh, here's what we're going to do. So everything after the equal sign, 10, 30 seconds and all that, get rid of it.
Wait, this equal sign or that equal sign?
After the first equal sign, get rid of the 10 over 32 and everything after it.
So we want to maybe work on simplifying first?
Oh, hold on, brother. That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So do that first, and then we're going to do, because that's only going to take a couple of seconds.
Right.
And then I've got a great problem for you to do next.
Okay, gotcha. So, Preston, look back at this problem here, right?
Yep.
And at the very end of the problem, you had to do some reducing, right? Could you do the reducing at the beginning of the problem?
Yes, you actually could. You can change 2/4 into 1/2.
Gotcha.
That you can't reduce because 5 is a prime number.
Okay, so bring that down.
Yep, 5/8.
That's it. And if you multiply this together, you don't have to write it down if you don't want to. What would the top number be?
5,
And the bottom number would be?
16.
And that's exactly what we got at the end of the other problem, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So a little bit of extra help there for you. Sometimes you can do a little work on the front end and not have to reduce or simplify at the end.
So, Scott, show them how to simplify without taking 2/4 and simplifying that fraction alone. Cross-simplifying.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that too. So one more way we can do it, if you want to erase what you've just written down there,
Yep.
when you're multiplying fractions, this is called cross-canceling, and you can do the exact same thing that you just did, but the interesting part is you don't have to have the numbers that you can simplify over top of each other, right? So here's what I mean by that. If you take this number here, this 2, right? You know that 2 can go into 2 and 2 can go into 4, right?
Yep.
But 2 can go into 2 and 2 can go into 8 as well.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yep.
Okay. So instead of dividing both numbers up and down, we can divide both numbers that are across from each other, called cross-canceling. So what's 2 divided by 2?
1.
1. And what's 8 divided by 2?
4.
4. Can you multiply those together?
Yep, that is 4. Wait,
Multiply,
where do I write
yeah,
it?
on the top and the bottom. See what you get. On the
Where
top.
do I write it?
On the top. 1 times 5.
1 times 5 is 5.
And on the bottom, 4 times 4.
No, 16.
That's it, and that's the same answer we got the other 2 times as well, right?
Yep.
So it's a neat little thing that will save you some time at the end, especially if the numbers get real big. We like to make them a little smaller before we go and multiply them together.
Okay.
Lots of different ways you can simplify even before starting the problem.
Now, we're not through with these numbers yet.
I got more
All
to do.
right? So clean it all up. Just get rid of it. We'll do it again.
Everything?
Since you've got X's and
Everything.
circles and cross-outs and everything else. All right, 2 over 4.
Wait.
And then 5/8. But now, Preston, put a division symbol in there.
Okay.
He sounded pretty excited about that. What are you going to do with this, Preston? What the heck?
I actually don't remember.
That's where I wanted to get to.
Okay.
Something that you're going to need to struggle a little bit. So when you do it in class, hopefully what you and Scott do right now will trigger a little something. You go, oh, now I remember what to do. All right, take it away.
All right, check this out. Here's my little quick example. Ready? What is 6 divided by 2?
3.
That's right. What is 6 times 1/2? In other words, what's half of 6?
3.
3. Look at that. These two answers are the same. And do you see how these two problems are exactly the same, except for this one's division, this one's multiplication, right? This one is a 2. What happened to the 2?
Got reduced by into
It kind of
1/2.
flipped over. See that?
Yep.
Because 2 in a fraction really is 2/1. If you flip it over and change it to a multiplication sign, you get the same answer.
Yep.
You think that'll work here?
Probably.
That's exactly what division of fractions is. That's exactly how you do it. You take the second fraction, you flip it over, and you rewrite the problem as a multiplication problem. So can you do that? The first fraction stays the same. Write that one just exactly like it is right underneath it.
So 2/4.
Yeah. Then we're going to do a multiplication problem. Good. And then flip the second fraction.
8/5.
Oh, look at that. Now, I know you don't have a problem multiplying, but let's see if we can use your newly found skills of cross-canceling. Can you cross-cancel any numbers here? First of all, can you cross-cancel the 2 and the 5?
Yeah, I think. No, you
Does
can't.
no, nothing goes into those because you told me that 5 was a prime number, huh? Nothing goes into 2 and 5. What about 8 and 4?
Yep, 2.
Let's do that. All right, so what number is going to go into 8 and 4?
2.
You could do 2. Can you do a bigger number?
No, I
How
don't
about 4?
think so. Could?
Yeah, you're right. You could do 2, but you can do an even bigger one. So for instance, what's 4 divided by 4?
1.
1. And what's 8 divided by 4?
2.
2. Look at that. At the very end here, you're going to get a fraction that you don't have to simplify anymore. Can you finish that up for us? 2 times 2 on the top?
4.
And 1 times 5? And you certainly can't simplify that one, right?
Yep.
So you did 2 things in this that you learned today. The first one was doing some division, where you flip the second fraction and change it to a multiplication problem. And the second one is doing some cross-canceling to make your answer at the end not have to simplify as much.
Yep.
That's
Nicely
a
done.
double
You've
whammy
done
right
some
there.
great problems with those 2 fractions. We did a lot of different examples with that.
That was great.
All right, well, you know what? We have a great partnership with our friends at ROC and CTEC, and you know, we've gone out there for many years and visited with the principal, Brian, many times, and have featured a lot of their programs on Do the Math over the years. This year, they have a video program where the students at CTEC produce all of these videos that we watch every week 100% on their campus with the students producing these videos. And we're going to learn a little bit more today about sports medicine.
We're learning a lot. I thought this class would be really easy at first, you know, just working out and doing stuff, but it's actually a lot of learning about the human body. Mostly we're learning a lot about anatomy, so how all the bones work, how all the muscles and the tendons come together to form how the human body works, and also how that translates to working out in the gym and what we do there.
The program offers, obviously they get high school credit right through A through G elective units. They also are able to have the opportunity to get CPR certified through the American Heart Association. And then they also have the potential to sit for, at least in the morning class, the personal training exam through the National Strength and Conditioning Association.
I want to be a physical therapist. I want to help people recover from an injury and get back into either working or getting back into their life.
We've learned a lot about the human body and the anatomy of it, and we've also learned to stretch properly and to do exercises correctly to help prevent injuries.
We go to the gym, we work out, and then we come back, we do recovery. It's different every day. Sometimes it's like geared toward a certain like muscle that we were working on, or sometimes it's just like about like learning new things. Like you could do the ice bath one day, or you could go into the sauna another day, and then after that we just come back and do more.
I would recommend any junior or senior that is motivated to learn about how the body works, about exercise and injuries, and then anybody who's highly motivated to kind of work hard. And they also do get some college credit through Cal State for the afternoon class. They get 4 units through their sports medicine kinesiology program. So students that are interested in maybe taking this class in college, and we're working on dual enrolling the other class as well.
My favorite part is going to the gym and practicing like what we're learning.
It's definitely my classmates. You know, the thing about CTEC is when you're going into a class, it's something you're interested in. So you're going to be with people who have the same interests as you. So I love my classmates, and it's really easy to talk to everybody in there, you know, and find some common ground that we all get along with.
Do use a little bit of math in the morning class, right? I teach personal training in that one. The students have to learn how to kind of calculate reps and sets and rest time and weight, and kind of how to estimate certain and specific loads using percentages.
There we go, another great production from the ROC and CTEC. A special thanks to the staff and especially the students that produce those great quality videos. We do have phone tutors most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. In studio with us, helping to celebrate our 20th season this year, is Preston, a 5th grade student from Panama Elementary. Doing some great work so far, and we're going to move on to another level now.
Okay.
You write down any information you think is going to be needed. Maddie earned 2 2/3 points, which was 25% of Preston's points. So if you want to put an M over that 2 2/3 maybe, so that you know that those are Maddie's points.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so Maddie earned 2 2/3 points, which was 25% of Preston's points. How many points did Preston earn?
So that would be.
Now remember, you've got Scott there in case you're stuck.
Whoa, where did that number come from? You're gonna have to do some explaining of yourself, young man.
Because.
So hold on. Let's write this down, because you're really, I like this, the direction you're going, but we got to make sure everyone else knows what you're doing here, right? So Preston, right? This is Maddie's. Maddie has 2 2/3 points.
And that was 25% of Preston's points.
Of Preston's. I like what you're thinking, but the 4 came out of nowhere, so tell me what you're thinking.
Because if it was, because 25 times 4 would be 100. And
Okay.
100% is about as high as you can go.
Gotcha. So if Maddie is 25%, what you're saying is for Preston, we want to know what 100% of his points are, right?
Yep.
I like the way you're thinking there. So again, tell me where the 4 came from?
Because 100%, 25 is, 25 times 4 is 100%.
Ah, so you could kind of put this in a ratio if you wanted to. 25 times 4 is 100. So we want to know what 2 2/3 times 4 is to get his points. Oh man, this is wonderful, wonderful mathematical thinking. Now we got to do the math. What are you going to do with this?
I can break up 2 and 2/3
Okay.
to make it 2 and 2/3. And because
Now we want to do some multiplication, right?
Yeah.
And before when we were doing problems, we had 2 fractions, and you learned a little bit how to multiply fractions, and it wasn't a problem. So is there a way you can make 2 and 2/3 into just a fraction, and then we won't have to worry about it? Because you know that 4, right? You know that 4 is 4 over 1.
Yep.
We can always make a number into a fraction. But 2 and 2/3, it's got a number and a fraction. Can you just make it into a fraction? Do you know how to change it into an improper fraction?
Not 2 and 2/3, no.
You know how to go the other direction, because before, right? Before, when we had a problem like this, like if you had 5 over 3, what number would that be? It would be a whole number and then a fraction, right? You told me before, when we had an improper fraction, you told me how to make it into a mixed number. So how would you simplify this? 5 over 3. How would you make it into a mixed number?
You change. You would. What is it? Subtract 3 from 5.
Good job. Yeah.
Because you
and that's
subtracted.
where the 1 comes from, right?
And then because 5 minus 3 is 2.
Gotcha. So that's where this comes from, right?
Yes.
So let's look and see the relationship here, and we'll use that over there. Ready? Here's the relationship that we have here. You take the numerator, the denominator at the bottom, and multiply times the big number. 3 times 1 is 3. And then you add 2, and you get back here to 5.
Yep.
So that's where this comes from. If you want to go this direction, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, and you still have the same denominator. Let's do the same thing over here. Go back to 2 and 2/3, okay? Can you do the same thing? I'm going to go ahead and write the signs here for you. We're going to do it times.
You guys
plus.
have a minute.
Oh, I like it. We can do this.
Okay, so 2 times 3 would just be 6.
But you got to add
And
2 more.
then
Don't forget that part.
Add 2 would be 2/6.
Hold on. Let's try again. Ready? 3 times 2. What's that?
6.
Plus 2 more? What's 6 plus 2?
Oh, 8.
8. Gotcha. Now remember, see over here? Both those fractions, or both these numbers, had a 3 on the bottom. So we're going to keep the 3 on the bottom here as well.
Okay.
And we're going to multiply it times 4 over 1, because that's what this number is here. Can you do this multiplication problem here for me?
Yep, that is 3 and 32.
Oh man, now we got a big, huge improper fraction. Can you change that back to a mixed number?
Yeah, that would be 10 and 2, 3.
10 and 2/3. Let's check to see if our method worked. 3 times 10 is 30.
Yep.
Plus 2 is 32.
Yep.
Nice job. Well done. 10 and 2/3 points for Preston.
And right on time as well. All right,
almost
nicely
like we planned
done.
it.
All right, well, you know what? We do have one more opportunity to go out to Affinity Truck Center, visit with Devin, and see what's going on one more time.
Thanks a lot. We're back here at Affinity Truck Center, wrapping things up, joined right now by Marcos Salcido, one of the master technicians here at Affinity. Marcos, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
That's got to be a great sounding title, master technician, considering kind of the path you took. Now, you got your start here way back in high school. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
So back in high school, I went to Auburn High. I went there all 4 years. Back my senior year, I was kind of into the mechanics, not sure what I wanted to do with my career yet. I was able to get into the program ROC up in Bakersfield. I did that program for about a year. Affinity Truck Center went to recruit kids there. I got into a little apprenticeship program right before I graduated high school. So it was about a process of like 4 weeks. About 4 weeks, and then once I graduated, they got me enrolled into their 1-year apprenticeship program. They set me up with one of their master techs, supplied tools, a toolbox, completed the year, and then I was set into a technician title. Did that, and then I was able to get sent to training classes out in Chicago, Atlanta, and got the process over with becoming a master technician. So the process was over about 2 years, but now I'm a full certified master technician in Volvo and in Mack.
So that process takes you not just from the classroom in high school and the ROC program in Bakersfield, but you had a chance to travel a bit, refine your craft, get a full program in a couple of years, and now you're set up with a pretty good position here.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, it was a great experience being able to travel. The company supplies everything pretty much. They got the training classes, the expenses, the food, you know. And I mean, being young, you know, it's fun. You know, you get to travel. You've never done it before, so it's a good experience.
Get the jet set a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, you know, as you're proceeding through high school, you have this opportunity to explore something like this. That's a time to really make some connections. What were some of the connections you were able to make as far as mathematics between what you were learning in the classroom and what you saw being applied here at Affinity?
So being a high school student, I wasn't the best in math, but what I did take from it is that fractions are a big deal. That is one thing that is well needed with any career, especially in the mechanic world.
Now we talk a little bit about the role that fractions play. I noticed that in regards to the tools that you utilize, that's where some of the biggest connections are made. What does that look like as far as any high schoolers that might be watching that they might be able to connect? So with like wrenches or tools, for example, like I know we have a set of tools back here, a set of wrenches. What sort of role do fractions play, and would you be able to walk us through that?
Yeah, I mean, you want to walk back
let's
here
go.
with me?
Check it out.
So the way fractions would work, you have your full set of open wrenches here. Here you'd have a 7/8. It'd follow in with the 15/16 and a 1 inch. So depending on both sizes and whatnot, you would need to know what fraction would have to follow, whether you would need a shorter one or a bigger one. So that would tie it in with fractions, whether you need a 3/4 or you need to go up to a 1 1/16, you know what I mean?
One of the things that we notice is that sometimes it becomes a challenge for students to recognize exactly the scale and the sense of how big a fraction might be. So in addition to just labeling, that sense of number sense, recognizing the difference between a 1/8 and a 7/8, and being able to pick that out quickly is going to be really helpful as far as making sure you have the right tool for the right purpose.
Correct.
Now, these aren't the only types of wrenches you might have, though, because not every piece that you're going to have to work with is measured in fractional form with the type of units that we work with, right? There's going to be different conversions with inches versus the metric system.
Correct. Yeah, there's different. You're gonna have your metric and your standard. So depending on both sides and whatever it is you're working on, you need to know what to apply, right? So you need to know whether the bolt head is gonna be a standard or a metric. So in that case, you have the labels that are gonna show you exactly what you need. So it's just defined whether it is a standard or a metric head bolt.
Well, you bring a fascinating story to your pathway and a wonderful insight. You know, we've been coming here to Affinity Truck Center for several years now, and the more we get to talk to the folks here, the more impressive it is. And we want to thank you and Affinity for your hospitality here, and acknowledge that by awarding you our Do the Math tile. Thank you so much, Marcos.
Thank you much, appreciate it.
Nothing but the best in your career. That'll do it from here from Affinity Truck Center. Mike, let's send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks for that, guys. A lot of great things going on. And once again, a big thanks to Roy Peters and all of the staff at Affinity. They've been friends of Do the Math for many years, and a lot of great things, especially that program with the youngsters. That is just awesome what they're doing over there. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. We want to say thank you to Susie for coming in this afternoon. Susie was part of Do the Math for about 5 years and part of our 20th year celebration. So we do appreciate Susie coming out and still using math in her piano lessons, even though she's retired from the classroom, which we will be soon. Just not soon enough yet. Anyway, in studio, Preston, did you learn something today?
Yep. I learned how to divide fractions.
You learned quite a bit of stuff today, right? Did you have some fun doing it?
Yes.
Excellent. That's what we want to hear right there, young man. And you have a fondness for ketchup, right?
Yep.
I think a lot of kids do. You put it on everything or just a lot of things?
Just a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things. That's all right. Hey, until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.